Go ahead and read this test question off to you. This is a released question from the 1L test, and I'm going to preface it with that I don't agree with the answer key on the answer. However, let me know what your thoughts are. I'm going to tell you my rationale, and then you can tell me yours if you want. But with the testing, sometimes they throw out questions, or they they basically they'll give you a question like a test question, but it's not going to count either way. That's what I mean by throw out. Okay, so that's part of the scaling. Okay, so Daniel owned a restored classic automobile made in 1922. To discourage tampering with the car, Daniel installed an electrical device designed to give a mild shock, enough to warn but not to harm persons touching the car. Paul, a heart patient with a pacemaker, saw Daniel's car and attempted to open the door. Paul received a mild shock, which would not have harmed an ordinary individual, remember the eggshell plaintiff, but which caused his pacemaker to malfunction, resulting in a fatal heart attack. If Paul's estate asserts a claim against Daniel for wrongful death of Paul, will the estate prevail? Here's the options you have. No, if Daniel was not using excessive force to protect the car, that's A. Or B, no, because Paul was a trespasser. Or C, yes, because Paul's act was a substantial factor in causing Paul's death. Or D, yes, if Paul had no reason to suspect the presence of the electrical device. So you can pause it, or I can just go read off what my assessment was and what the answer key says. So the answer key says A. No, if Daniel was not using excessive force to protect his car. Now, with criminal law, you can never use excessive force, or when you're doing defense of property, you can't use excessive force. And with torts, you take your victim as you find them, right? And if you're going to have something that might cause harm, you're going to have a warning sign, right? So anyway, I feel like there's a conflict of laws, and I'm going to cite what I think. I think the answer is D, yes. If Paul had no reason to suspect the presence of the electrical device. Now, so I don't know what you chose, but that's what I chose. And I looked up the law, and I really couldn't find anything to support A. And there's nothing in the back of the thing except for an answer key. Now, I looked at this first year 1L class I took and case I studied, Cato versus Briney. It was an Iowa case with a spring gun. And basically, these are booby trap laws where you set up a booby trap to catch a trespasser, and your intent is to harm someone that might go across your property and discourage them from stealing or anything else. And usually you're supposed to have a sign or something obvious like warning electrical fence. Barbed wire is kind of obvious if you just look at it. But so the court found that in this case that the owner of land is not privileged to install a device that could inflict serious bodily harm like a spring-loaded gun. And here we got a vehicle, right? And it's being protected from a trespass to chattel. And normally a light shock won't cause serious injury. This was not a negligent act, and this person intentionally put this to do a battery. By the way, depending on the jurisdiction, assault and battery are defined differently. Um, but anyway, so sometimes they combine them. So this eggshell plaintiff, D, seems like the best choice to me. Now, A, if you got A right, you got A right. Can you tell me why you think A is right? So sometimes these questions aren't so obvious. And yeah, that's what I'm going to say for today. I'm sorry I disagree with the answer key. Thanks for listening. Take care. Bye.